A very good morning, class 11th. So here we are with another lecture, that is cardiac cycle. Till now, I hope you have understood about working of heart, right? We know about pacemaker now. That is sinoatrial node. That is SA node is our pacemaker. We know about now pace setter. That is AV node. We know about these things now. We have information about heart. Now how this cycle, how much time a cycle takes when your heart is working, how much time it takes to complete its cycle, right? You know that when we keep our hand here, then we are able to hear love tub love one voice, right? Tug 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 tug, like this. So that kind of sounds which are coming when you feel it that way, so that we are going to talk about today. We are going to talk about sounds. We are going to talk about a complete cardiac cycle, that how much time it takes for the heart to contract and relax, contract and relax. So let's see about the what cardiac cycle includes. Now there are two terms which we need to understand when we talk about cardiac cycle, that is contraction and relaxation. Because see, this is, our heart is myogenic and it is working like contraction, relaxation, contraction and relaxation. So these are, it's a rhythmicity which is working, which is helping for the heart to functioning, or you can say that heart is functioning in that rhythm, contraction, relaxation, contraction and relaxation, right? So now, when your heart is contracting, that term we will use, it is known as systole. For contraction, we will use systole. Relaxation, for relaxation of heart, when your ventricles or auricles, anyone is relaxing, that condition is known as diastole. So here I am saying two words. For contraction, your systole word we will use, and relaxation position we will use diastole. Now what is cardiac cycle? Why we are calling it as a cycle? That sequence of events, means one after the other, one after the another. When we talk about that sequence, so those events, those steps which are happening in heart, one after the another, in a cyclic repeated manner. ऐसा नहीं हुआ एक हो गया दूसरा नहीं होगा, no, it is happening one after the another. So and they are happening like 1 2 3 1 2 3, they are happening in a sequence and it is in the form of a cycle. So we are calling it as a cardiac cycle. So when you have to mention the definition for this, the sequential event in your heart which is cyclically repeated, that is called your cardiac cycle. And what it involves, it consists of our two things: contraction, relaxation, contraction, relaxation, right? So it consists of your systole. Systole is for contraction, diastole is for relaxation. So it is involving, what is your cardiac cycle is involving? It is involving systole and diastole of what? Who is contracting and who is relaxing? Atria and ventricles, right? So it cardiac cycle, it involves contraction and relaxation of atrium and ventricles, because ultimately it is the ventricles who are going to pump out blood, right? So if atria will contract, only then ventricles they will receive blood. When the ventricles they will contract, only then they will be able to pump out blood. So here we are talking about contraction and relaxation of atrium and our ventricle chambers. Okay, so now I'm first taking first term I'm taking here, that is your auricular systole. First we will talk about your atrium, right? Auricles. So here as you can see, Now when auricles contract, here we have I have drawn a very just to make you understand. So that diagram we have drawn, not all the things we have labeled here, we don't need to label all the things, we have just drawn it to so that we can understand that what is happening in each chamber. So as you can see, now we are talking about auricular systole. Systole means contraction. So now when these auricles, they contract, when they are contracting, they are doing their job, right? They are contracting, just space is getting decreased, right? They are contracting, they are under pressure, they now the blood will move to ventricle. So blood is pumped to ventricles, right and left. Now both, because of both auricles they are contracting. So what are the valves which are present here? Right and left, auriculoventricular valve, both right and left. कौन से valve हैं ये? These are your tricuspid and bicuspid valve. They should be open or they should be closed? They will be opened, because auricles, they are contracting, they have to send blood to ventricles. So now auriculoventricular valves means your tricuspid and bicuspid valves, they will be open. First point is clear. Now what happened to your valve of Sebaceous and valve of Eustachius? What happened to them? Because already auricles now have received blood. They have received blood. They are sending blood to ventricles. So they will be opened or they should be closed? They should be closed, because inferior vena cava and coronary sinus, they are just to pump out, they are just to release deoxygenated blood into atrium. Receive करने का काम यहाँ पे खत्म हो चुका है. Now auricles, they are contracting, they are not receiving. So they are valve of Eustachius and valve of Sebaceous, they will be closed. So why they will be closed? क्योंकि अगर close नहीं होंगे तो there are the chances कि when they are contracting, blood can flow back to your body parts. We don't want that condition, so they will be closed. But yes, अगर bicuspid tricuspid नहीं open होंगे, how they will transfer blood to ventricle? So that is why bicuspid and tricuspid ओपन हो जाएंगे, वो गेट्स ओपन कर दिए हो गए. नाउ द valve of Sebaceous and Eustachius, they will be closed. So now here one more thing for you to understand, that opening, because auricles ने जितना रिसीव करना था blood, now they have received. So these pulmonary vein, let's make it with red. So these are our pulmonary veins. So now pulmonary veins and vena cava, superior and inferior vena cava, these openings, they will be closed. So openings of inferior vena cava and superior vena cava, they will be closed. Auriculoventricular valve, your bicuspid and tricuspid valve, they will be open. coronary sinus और जो inferior vena cava में valve हैं, they will be closed, as well as your pulmonary veins and superior vena cava, they will be automatically closed. So complete blood is now ready to flow into ventricles. So complete blood is flowing into ventricles. So when this is happening, when your systole, when your auricles, they are contracting, the time period within which it is contracting, that is only 0.1 seconds. Within the 0.1 second, it finishes its work, right? So now when auricles, they are contracting, what is ventricles they are doing? They are doing nothing, right? See, when one is contracting, others, they will in relaxed position. So ventricles, they are in diastole. Diastole is for relaxing, because they are not contracting. Both cannot contract at a one time. So when auricles contract, ventricles, they receive blood, and those chambers, when they are receiving blood, they are in diastole. Time period, again please note down, when I'm saying these time period, note it down at separate at one corner of your rough notebook, because we have to calculate this cardiac output. So now here we are saying that auricle systole, it completes in 0.1 seconds. Now let's come to ventricular systole. It means ventricles will contract. Now walls of ventricle, we know that they are much thicker than the wall of auricles. Wall of left ventricle, this is 3 times much thicker than the right ventricle. Now when they contract, what should be closed? What should be closed? Which valves should be closed? Auriculoventricular valves, they are closed now. Immediately when, again listen to my sentence, immediately when your ventricles they contract, immediately auriculoventricular valves get closed, because we cannot take a chance that there should be a backward flow of blood, because they contract with a pressure, right? So immediately that time when there is a contraction, that time these valves, your bicuspid and tricuspid valves, they get closed. Now डोर बंद होने पे कुछ साउंड आती है कि नहीं? रूम में आती नहीं? Yes, there is always a sound comes, right? We will see what is that sound. So now वहाँ पे क्या पड़ा है हमारे पास? वेंट्रिकल स्मूथ वाल्व्स नहीं है, राइट? दे हैव पैपिलरी मसल्स, दे हैव कॉलुमिने कार्ने. उनको सपोर्ट कौन कर रहा है? दैट इज द कॉर्डे टेंडने, राइट? सो दे आर हेल्पिंग देम. सो व्हेन देयर इज अ नाउ क्लोज, now auricular ventricular valves, when they close, who is helping them? Because they are like a 3 flaps. So there are the papillary muscles which are having, there is a shape, that is a chordae tendineae attached with them. They get stretched and they hold in the, they provide a support, they help in closure of right and left AV valves. Okay, these muscles which are attached, they get stretched and they help auricular, tricuspid and bicuspid valve to get closed properly. So when they close, when you have now pushed the door that is closed, they will make a sound, first sound of your heartbeat, that is first sound, that is lub. So first sound which heart makes, which first sound which we are able to hear, that is lub. And when it is produced, very 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 important question, when it is produced at the time of closure of atrium at the auriculoventricular valve, or you can simply say that is the tricuspid and bicuspid valve, when they get closed, then there is a sound which is we can hear, that is the first sound, that is our heart, in our heart, that is lub, right? Now there is we have discussed that now ventricles, they are contracting. It means there is a opening of semilunar valves, because they are pumping blood. तो semilunar valves कहाँ पे present है? Just recall your previous lecture. Semilunar valves, they are, one is our aortic valve, that is with the aorta, and one is our pulmonary valve, right? Pulmonary is, which is this pulmonary artery में, यहाँ पे जो valve होता है, that is pulmonary valve, and here we have our aortic valve. Now these are semilunar valves. They are open. Obviously they should be open, because now ventricles, they are contracting, they are pumping blood, they are open, and so that blood can be pumped into main arteries. Duration. First I told you the duration when atria, they are sending blood to ventricle, that was 0.1 second. So duration during which ventricular systole is completed, that is 0.3 second. Please write it down on the side or the corner or any page of your rough notebook. 2 time periods we have now discussed. Duration during which ventricular systole is completed, that is 0.3 seconds. Now when the ventricles, they are contracting, what are your auricles doing? They are in relaxed position. So that relaxation is known as diastole, right? So auricles, they are in diastole. When ventricles contract, auricles, they relaxed. Next is, now this was our ventricular systole. Next is a term that is known as joint distole. Very, very interesting term, right? See, now joint diastole, it means everything is in relax for a few seconds. See, now what was happening in ventricular systole? Your auricles, they were relaxed. When ventricles relax now, because they have pumped out blood, when ventricles relax, when ventricles, they are relaxed because they have pumped blood to all the body parts. So when they relax, auricles, they are also in diastole. What we have discussed here, that auricles, they are in diastole, they are not doing anything. So when ventricles relax, auricles are also in diastole. Now you will tell, ma'am, how? Because your auricles are doing what? They are receiving blood, and when they receive blood, then they are in diastole, they are in relaxed position. So both, when ventricles relax, then auricles are in also in diastole condition. So this is the time, that is for few seconds, this is the time when your all compartments are relaxed. All compartments are relaxed. Now look at this, just this is contract, this is relaxed, area is increasing, right? Volume is increasing. So when all compartment relax, all chambers relax, volume increases. When volume get increases, प्रेशर कम हो गया. क्योंकि प्रेशर कब बढ़ रहा है? जब कोई भी कंपार्टमेंट फिल हो रहा है, जब आप ब्लड उस पंप करे जा रहे हो, ब्लड डालते जा रहे हो, देन देयर इज अ प्रेशर which is coming. But here they are in relaxed position, so volume is increasing and pressure is decreasing. Now this pressure, when it get decreased, right, there are the chances that when volume increase हो गया, pressure decrease हो गया, so there are the chances that blood can be flow back from the main arteries, from your pulmonary artery and aorta back into the ventricles. Now, but this cannot be, we cannot allow this to happen. Our heart cannot allow, right? So to prevent this situation, to prevent backward flow of blood, semilunar valves, they get closed. अभी तक ओपन थे, मैंने नहीं बोला सेमिलुनर वाल्व्स क्लोज. सो ड्यूरिंग जॉइंट डायस्टोल, व्हाट इज जॉइंट डायस्टोल? व्हेन ऑल चैम्बर्स दे आर रिलैक्स्ड, when your auricles, ventricles, they are relaxed, they are just for 0.4 seconds, they are in joint diastole. When all chambers, they relax, volume is increased, pressure is decreased. So to prevent that particular situation कि आपका backward flow ना हो जाए, semilunar valves immediately get closed. So when they close, again a new sound is now have to come. A new sound will come. So when semilunar valve get closed, second heart sound we can hear, that is dub. In few books it is dub. We will go with dub, right? We will always write dub. And that the time period, again now please write down time period separately. So time period here is 0.4 seconds. Two sounds we are talking about here. First sound, when your closure of our auricular ventricular valve happens. Second sound, when there is a closure of semilunar valves happen. Semilunar valves means I'm talking about here aortic and pulmonary valve. Is it clear? That produces a sound, tuck, that is your dub. The second sound, that is dub. So what is the conclusion? We have talked about joint diastole, we have talked about ventricular systole, we have talked about auricular systole. What is the conclusion of this cardiac cycle? So entire cycle, it completes in less than 1 second. If you count, we are going to count them. So it is takes only 0.8 seconds to complete this contraction and relaxation procedure. It is such a beauty that is our heart is, that it is so characterized, it is so specific in its function, that it is performing every function so specifically, right? So blood keeps coming in auricles, slowly and slowly, and they are in relaxed position, because when they are receiving blood they will be just relaxing position. So now let's talk about our cardiac output. We are saying that zero point 0.8 second for one cardiac cycle it takes place. So auricular systole, first let's talk about the auricular systole. So complete auricular systole, it completes in auricular systole, it completes in 0.1 seconds. What about your auricular diastole? When are your auricles? They are in diastole. Now just go back. So here you can see that this is our joint diastole, right? They are in relaxed position. What is the 0.3? When your ventricles they are contracting, then they are in relaxed position. So at the time of joint diastole they are relaxed, at the time of ventricular systole your auricles they are relaxed. So we have to add them. So total it is 0.7 seconds. So auricles they are in relaxed position for 0.7 seconds. So when you count them, the whole one cycle of contraction and relaxation of auricles that completes in 0.8 seconds. Next is the ventricular systole. Ventricular systole, that is 0.3 seconds, right? And ventricular diastole, when they are in diastole, one is 0.4, that is joint diastole, right? This 0.4 is our joint diastole. Plus when your auricles they are contracting, they are in relaxed position, so it is 0.1. So 0.1 plus 0.4, this is when your auricles they are contracting. So we have 0.4, this is 0.5. So 0.5 plus 0.3, again your cycle is contraction and relaxation cycle is completing in 0.8 seconds. So it is taking less than 1 second time for a auricles and ventricles to complete their contraction and relaxation. So let's quickly differentiate between two sounds. They are important, that is heart sound, lub and dub. First sound S1 is mean, that is your first heart sound, and S2 is your second heart sound. Now it is very clear, I hope it is very clear to you now, that lub is produced when your auricular ventricular right and left both are closed. During that time there is a sound that is produced, that is your lub, right? And due to closure of semilunar valve, which sound we can hear? That is your second sound, that is dub. So this is closure of left and right auricular valves. When does it happen? When will it happen? Ventricular systole, when your ventricles they are contracting. Dub, semilunar valves, it means ventricular diastole as well as joint diastole. At that time your semilunar valves they are closed. Lub is little less louder, louder, and dub produces a very sharp sound, very louder. Second means second heart sound is little louder in the as compared to your lub. And lub is for the longest duration, little bit, and the dub is for the shorter duration. So this is these are the difference between two heart sound, that is lub and dub. Now we have to calculate total amount of volume of blood our heart can give rise to, right? So it is our heart can pump out, so that will be known as cardiac output. Again I am repeating, the volume of blood which our ventricles they can pump out, that is known as your cardiac output. So volume of blood pumped by each ventricle per minute, क्योंकि हम बीट्स कब काउंट करते हैं, बीट्स क्या बोला था हमने इन यस्टरडेज लेक्चर, 72 beats per minute, right? That is our the calculation about the heartbeats. So that time per minute, how much volume of blood is pumped by each ventricle, that is our cardiac capacity, cardiac output. That is our cardiac result. So how to calculate, what formula we can apply here, because per minute you have to count. So here heart rate is produced per minute, right? That heart rate will give us the number of beats per minute, as well as your stroke volume. Now what is stroke volume? Because we are talking about each ventricle, so each ventricle, it pumps out approximately 70 ml of blood, and this is known as stroke volume. So to calculate cardiac output, what will you do? You will multiply that stroke volume which your ventricles they can pump out with the heart rate. You can have to multiply that. So 70 ml is our stroke volume, and heart rate is 72 beats per minute. So approximately it is coming 5040 ml per minute. And if you go per your NCRT, if we go for that values, then we will convert into liters, and 5 liters per minute in a healthy individual. That is our cardiac output. I hope that if any any kind of numerical that comes from this topic, you can easily mention that, because you know stroke volume is each ventricle how much volume it can pump out, that is 70 ml. Beats per minute, heart beats, that is 72 per minute, right? So per minute we have calculated our volume of blood, that is our cardiac output. So what is cardiac output के important points क्या हैं कि total blood volume आपको पता होना चाहिए which is pumped by each ventricle, that is 70. Heartbeats we know that is 72 time per minute, right? So this is all about our today's lecture. Lecture will be very long if I will take another topic, so I'm going to wind up here, right? So still now question time, because questions, they are very important. So here I'm leaving you again with the questions. Second heart sound during cardiac, you can easily mention that, because now you know second heart sound during cardiac cycle is produced by opening of atrioventricular valves, closure of atrioventricular valves, opening of semilunar valves, closure of semilunar. You know that answer, right? If you have watched this lecture very carefully, you can easily answer this. Second is a decrease in, yes, that is our second or third lecture, I think, first lecture. A decrease in plasma albumin levels. Don't make it wrong. It is likely to affect clot formation, oxygenation of hemoglobin, osmotic balance, immune function. Direct answer. Please don't make it wrong. Okay. An individual who is blood type AB negative. Now, AB negative, it means it is not having Rh antigen. So it can receive blood type in moderate amounts. It can receive any blood type in moderate amount except that which Rh antigen. Can donate blood to all blood types. Can receive types A, B, AB, but not type O. So see, sometimes it happens with the question that other options, they are totally incorrect. You have to mark your best option. An individual with whose blood type is that way, that question is repeated. Okay, so this is our fifth question. The first heart sound or the lub is produced near the end of atrial systole, immediately after the start of ventricular systole, near the end of ventricular systole, immediately after the start of ventricular diastole. That needs your understanding, that how much you have understood now, because this is a understanding portion, that options are very close here. So please go through these, read this question carefully, and then mark your answer. So this is all about our today's lecture, right? I will meet you again. Now we start with that ECG, and then regulation, and then disorders. Okay, till then, all of you take care.